Hi, everyone. Thanks for being with us today. Appreciate your time here. It's been busy in the county with the advent of the wildfires with us here now. And let me start by saying that from the very beginning of this pandemic, we started to plan for an event like this, where we may have a situation where we had a crisis within a crisis. And I just want to commend all those in the EOC and all those in the planning process who have really stepped up and really prepared for this type of a situation. The EOC, again, is in full swing, handling dual crisis that we have in place right now with the COVID-19 and the needs associated with that, and now obviously with the wildfire. We do believe that this is one of the, if not the biggest wildfire we've had in over 100 years in the county, and it is growing. And certainly the weather is not cooperating at this point in time with the heat. So just by way of a recap, what's called the CZU, August Lightning Complex fires, we do believe was a result of 3 fires being initiated by lightning from Sunday and smoldering for a period of time. And it stayed pretty well contained, moving at a very slow rate for a period of time. And there's really 3 of them: the Olmo Truck Trail in Butno Fire Road, and then the Butno Truck Trail and Dearborn Park Road fire, and then the Butno Truck Trail and the China Grade Road. All 3 of those fires are converging somewhat into one, and there are 0% contained at this point in time, with over 10,000 acres burned as it's moving south and now into Santa Cruz. So evacuation orders have been issued throughout yesterday and throughout last night. They were stepped up into the Deer Park area, the Pescadero Creek County Park area, Butno community area, Butno State Park area, including the Knolls community, Butno Creek drainage area, the South Skyline area near Highway 9, the Russian Ridge Open Space Reserve area, the Middleton Track area, which is probably one of the most populous areas, and the Portola Roads State Park and Portola Heights community area. I just want to, at this point in time, commend CAL FIRE for the outstanding work that they're doing. They are out there tirelessly fighting this fire. There is not enough resources in the state to deploy to this fire. They've got almost 600 firefighters on the ground working this, and it's not nearly enough, and there are no other resources to draw from at this point in time until things stabilize in the state. As I think the governor announced, there's hundreds of fires burning throughout the state, and certainly you can see what's going on in the Bay Area. So there's pecking orders as far as crews and airdrops and everything else associated with that. And we're just going to have to be patient and wait our turn. But these individuals are out there, working 48-hour shifts to try to battle this monstrous fire, as it now consumes over 10,000 acres in the county. So some of the personnel that we've got, and just let me start by saying the Pescadero High School is the Evacuation Center, as I'm sure many of you heard. There's road closures going on. I also want to commend our sheriff's office, who's been out there throughout the night helping with the evacuation of people and animals. We've got over 1,000 people in San Mateo County now who have been evacuated into hotel rooms. We've got 108 folks that we've housed in hotel rooms, consisting of 55 families. But this is unusual also, and maybe not so unusual for a wildland fire, but we have animals to contend with too. So we have evacuated 26 horses, 4 mules, 2 mini horses, 24 goats, 1 Scottish Highland cow, which is a pretty cool cow if you don't know what that is. 300 turkeys and 100 pigs so far, and that will grow, I'm sure, as this fire grows exponentially. Assigned resources, there's 44 engines, fire engines, there's 21 water tenders, 7 helicopters, there's 10 hand crews, there's 10 bulldozers, and there is a special management team that has been brought in to manage this very complex fire. And there is no easy way to attack this fire because of the density of the wooded area that it involves, the terrain that it involves, and the fact that there is a lot of brush and no easy way to get to it. This will not be an easy fix fire. This will take a considerable amount of time to make sure it's out in its entirety. The thing that really concerns us is the lack of resources in the state at this point in time. We certainly understand that. It's just there's so many fires going on, and the fact that this is a highly dense area with shrubs that could stay smoldering for a long period of time. And then we have the winds, the unpredictability of the winds that come in and are expected to come in today. So this is a very dynamic situation at this point in time, and we will try to keep you posted. As you know, yesterday the governor declared a statewide emergency due to the fires and extreme weather, and on Monday issued an emergency proclamation freeing up energy capacity to reduce the need for rolling blackouts. So a lot going on in that fire while we try to manage a pandemic. And we've seen, as of yesterday, plus 93 more cases, confirmed cases, for a total of 7,150 confirmed cases, 7,150 now. We've got 127 deaths. That's up 1 from the last time we spoke. And we can see that the hospitalizations are still relatively intact, which we certainly hope we maintain that. With really 47 confirmed cases in the county. We only have 1 outside the county, which is good to hear. Our surge beds and ICU beds remain extremely stable, and we've got over 130,000 in our county who have been tested, with a positivity rate of holding really at 5.5, which is somewhat remarkable given the limited testing that we've had. Let me talk a little bit about the county monitoring list, and really it was the governor really unfroze that monitoring list on Monday after the state completed efforts to review and clear nearly 300,000 unprocessed COVID-19 cases. 300,000 unprocessed COVID-19 cases. Given that the state has now cleared the reporting backlog and addressed the underlying glitches, the county monitoring list has been reactivated, and after having been frozen in early August. So what does that mean to us? We are still on the list. A couple of counties have come off, 5 more have gone on, but really the only area are the daily counts that we're exceeding. We don't even know about the validity of those counts, though the state has indicated that they feel that they've cleared up the glitches. We're not relying on that information yet, and I'll have Sarija talk to that in a little bit. We're not relying on that information because we don't necessarily believe that it's completely accurate. We're still working on that, but Sarija can talk about that in a minute. And even if you do come off the list, the path to reopening is very unclear right now. To reopening businesses is unclear. It certainly has some implications for schools, but the implications for businesses are still profound, and we're still trying to figure out how we can get our businesses back open in this county. There were 2,600 tests last week conducted by Verily, 1,000 walk-ups. The new lab site for Verily will go live on August 24th. The test results are expected to be available within 3 to 5 days, considerably less than what we're looking at right now through some of the state-sponsored labs. And certainly better, and certainly in some cases the private enterprises that are operating, the private hospitals and so on, have much quicker turnaround times, and that's why we're re-emphasizing that message for people to use their insurance, to use their primary care physicians if they have symptoms or they feel that they're sick or they feel that they're in contact with somebody, to go through the primary care physicians, get advice from them, and if necessary, they will set them up with testing, which quite frankly may be a lot quicker. So we're still amplifying that message. Just some updates on shelter. We've got 106 guests now sheltered. I believe it's at least two hotels that we've utilized for the CZU lightning fire, and these are people that have been displaced. We've got 10 at the AHS Redwood City hotel with 9 rooms occupied. And then in the Bayfront Hotel, we've got 88 guests. And in various hotels around the county, we've got another 96 guests for 184 individuals. We've got 43 people on the wait list. The mobile mass mobile, I don't think, can we pull it up? Let's try it one more time, Misty.
I don't have it loaded currently at this time.
Okay, well maybe try that. We'll come back to it. We are in the process of putting out a mobile mass mobile to areas that we feel may not be meeting the goal of having everyone with a mask in hand and readily available to them to use. So we want to be in neighborhoods, driving streets, or at popular locations to give out masks to make sure that they have that opportunity, because we know that is important, and we want to emphasize that people do in fact wear their masks. A little bit on the Child Care Relief Fund. The applications will open next Monday, August 24th at 9 a.m. They will remain open through September 4th at 5 p.m. And we're trying to get the word out to child care providers so that they can apply, and they can apply right online at SMC Child Care Relief. So, and there's a social media kit available here also. So we're really trying to outreach them in the fundraising efforts to match the $2 million that the Board of Supervisors put up is ongoing. So a new program to talk about, and this is the HSA Human Services Agency is rolling out a new program to support individuals and family who must isolate because they've tested positive for COVID-19. Who need nutritional support because they're not financially able to purchase during the isolation period or cannot go out in public. We had a case last weekend where a family of 8 was in need of food, and they were all positive and couldn't go out. So we rushed some groceries out to them, and we feel that more will be in need of those services. So HSA has opened up a department operations center with care and shelter needs to assist this very specific subset of county residents who are in need of isolating and need food. So there's a referral desk available 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., which is terrific. And hopefully we can meet all the needs out there for those who cannot get out and get food. And additional residents who need food during isolation period can call 211 for that, or the county's EOC for help. And certainly we then in turn contact core agencies and Second Harvest and CalFresh. So that is my update. You guys have submitted some media questions, so let's go through some of those. Are the concerns for the virus being spread following the recent evacuation order? Absolutely. We're always worried about that, but we've got to maintain the practices that we put in place everywhere. So even at the evacuation center, people have to stay, if they're not in the same family, at least 6 feet, preferably further away from each other. They have to wear masks. We've got sanitation stations set up out there, but they are there for a period of time, and then we are moving them out of there so that those who have relatives or friends or somewhere else to stay can go there after we get their information. And we want to make sure that, in fact, everybody has left that evacuation area. So it's very important to check in with that with that evacuation center that we have at Pescadero High School. And for those who don't have a place to go, we're putting them in hotel rooms with their families. And again, it's the same that we do with those who are homeless. We have the checks and balances in place to try to separate people and keep them apart from each other, and be like anyone going to a hotel and avoiding others, whether it's in the elevator or on the grounds itself, and making sure that they are wearing their masks. So it's something that we're cognizant of. But I can tell you, these are times like no other. You think about typically how our firefighters would congregate and live in sleeping quarters, and that has to be changed, or how you're bringing in firefighters from outside the state. You have to be very circumspect about that also. So it has made things much, much more complicated. And given the limited resources too, that not everyone is working the resources that you would expect in non-COVID times, the infrastructure you would expect is not always there. But we're making do, and I can't tell you, how many organizations have stepped up and are doing a great job, especially with the displacement of these animals. And certainly the people, and certainly the health and welfare of those evacuated is paramount to us. So we just talked about the next question was what precautions are being put in place to prevent spread of the virus at the evacuation center, hotels, places across the county. I think we just addressed that. Next question, any word on how close the county is to being removed from the state monitoring list? I don't think we have any idea, but Sarija, maybe you have more information.
We aren't able to predict when that might occur. Currently, our case rate exceeds the threshold the state has established per 100,000 population. The state has listened to a lot of feedback from counties about the metrics, about the approach being used. We're hopeful that they're considering adaptations that reflect our on-the-ground reality.
And thank you for that, Sarija. And it's, again, we feel that we're in an adequate place in the county, and this is dependent upon people doing the right thing moving forward. Again, that campaign that we're all in this together certainly comes into play, and we've got to make sure that people continue to do that. But getting off the monitoring list is step one. Opening businesses, which I get calls about daily, we still have no information or clear path on, and that is a little disconcerting. So the next question, I believe, is for Sarija. How close are you to feeling confident about the data on the county dashboard? And this is a little bit what we talked about earlier, but hopefully you can elaborate on this.
Yeah, we don't know when we can have full confidence. We will remove the disclaimer on our website and on our dashboards when we get to that level. Right now, we still see some duplication of records, some issues in the lab results that are coming from some major partners. So we don't want to be premature in knowing that the data challenges are behind us.
Great. And Sarija, I'll ask you about the next question too. How is contact tracing going, and will the county be giving out any data on how many people have been contacted?
Yeah, so we are feeling good about our contact investigation workforce. We will be welcoming 64 additional colleagues to that team starting Monday. So much gratitude for every county department that has helped to augment this core part of the public health mitigation. And we have a team of 30 public health colleagues who've been at it since January, and just such tremendous good work in keeping the trust of our residents. When we have confidence in the data, there's a scorecard that looks at the Bay Area Health Officer metric of 90% of cases being contacted, 90% of close contacts being reached. That's the kind of information that will show back up on our dashboard.
Great. Thank you so much, Sarija. And those are the questions I had. Before I open it up for questions, I just want to say this, that I'm just so proud of the men and women in the county here, these county employees, especially in the EOC. And I got to tell you, this EOC has been operating in an unprecedented fashion for almost 6 months now. and we were winding it down, trying to go more and more virtual, because there's so many structures that have been put in place that would help us deal with the pandemic. But they turned around on a dime, and the EOCs again in full swing, trying to coordinate efforts with CAL FIRE, with the Sheriff's Office, and with all our partners out there on this wildfire during the middle of this other crisis. So I just have so much admiration for them, and I'm so proud of all that they've accomplished, and the fact that they put their fatigue. There is such thing as EOC fatigue, and it is occurring here, but they have put that aside, and they have stepped up once again to make sure that we safeguard life and property and well-being of the residents of this county, so in the businesses of this county. So I just wanted to give a big shout out to all those in the EOC and for all they do. And with that, I'll open it up to see if there's any other questions that we may answer for you.
Henrietta, you've been unmuted.
Hi, Henrietta, how you doing?
I am fine. How are you?
I'm okay.
That's good. I have two questions. Number one, you express concern about the state's lack of resources in terms of the fire. Do you know if there have been any efforts by the state to reach out to other states for assistance?
I think there is, and it's not that I'm disappointed in the state. I'm more disappointed in the situation, because the state, I don't even know if in the history if we've had this many wildfires going at the same time throughout the state. But we've got other regions, I know Colorado and Washington has fires going on. But I do, to answer your question more specifically, do believe they've reached out to other states. It's a little bit more, it's a little bit more convoluted because of COVID-19 as to, and more difficult bringing people in, I believe, from out of state in masses. And how do you do that? And how do you safeguard your personnel? So that's been a little bit difficult, I believe, for CAL FIRE and for the state to work on. But I don't certainly want to give you the impression that I don't think the state is doing enough. I mean, we're so grateful for the resources that we have here, and CAL FIRE has done a terrific job. It's just that it seems like you look at every county in the state and they are in need of resources, and they're just stretched so thin.
Second question. You mentioned the mobile mask unit, and when will that be rolling out, and how will the places be selected to which the unit will go?
Yeah, good question. It'll be out, we hope, by September 1st, because it's just being painted right now. I guess they call it wrapped now with the design. But the mobile maskmobile is out there delivering masks to locations in the county. We are using that opportunity to also educate people on the fact that they need to socially distance and wear a mask and stay healthy and do all those things. But we look at areas that may not have access to masks, or where we see people not wearing masks. We do rely heavily on the cities to say, hey, you may need to come into this area or that area. And we have created somewhat of a calendar, I believe, Connie, right, of where we'll be in the different cities over the next month or so.
Okay.
Where's that located?
We can send that information out via Michelle.
Yeah, we'll get that out to you, just showing you where we'll be.
Terrific. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Sarah Wright?
Hi, Sarah. How you doing?
Hi, I'm down here at the Pescadero Evacuation Center. We're hearing that we're in pre-evacuation in Pescadero and La Honda. Do you have any idea where a new site might end up if Pescadero and La Honda have to evacuate?
I don't, and one of the reasons we did that is to put Pescadero and La Honda on a warning at this point in time, is because we want to give people plenty of time to evacuate. We don't want it to be an hour, 2 hours. We want to make sure that people have an opportunity to think this through logically, to get their valuables together, to make plans for their animals, so that they have plenty of time to adhere to these warnings and try to get the things necessary together, and for those who have relatives or other places to go to kind of line that up also. But to answer your question specifically, I do not know yet where the new evacuation site will be. We will have Michelle put that out in the event that we move to a higher level.
Thank you.
Okay,
Emily,
Emily,
Hi, Mike.
how are you?
I'm doing okay. Hope you're doing okay too. So one question, I think this might be for health, but maybe you have an answer, is what sort of masks should folks with respiratory issues be wearing now with the smoke in the air? Should it be N95 if they have access, or?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, Sarija, I'll leave it to you since it's more medical, but you would think, I mean, the air quality out there is pretty bad. So maybe these masks are a good thing, right? That we're wearing, maybe they'll have dual purpose, so.
I'm not a medical professional, but our medical team did advise in a Facebook live stream yesterday that folks continue to use those masks that are for the kind of work that you do. So the N95 masks are not recommended for those that aren't in the direct care setting and in situations in which they have not been fit tested so that they actually work. But we do recognize the respiratory challenges, and a mask as is appropriate for your specific situation is advised.
Great, thank you. Anything else?
we have one question from Austin Walsh regarding the fires. Any indication the weather may change soon and help firefighters?
We're hearing that the weather is unfavorable for a period of time here, and we are hoping it changes. We'd love to see it start raining right now, but we understand that there may be more weather coming in, potentially lightning strikes over the weekend. So we're just watching and waiting because it plays such an important part in the direction of a fire and how the winds pick up in the spread of this fire. So this fire grew exponentially because of the weather. So we're hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst.
And at this time, there are no other raised hands and no other questions in the chat.
All right, thank you all. Really appreciate it. We'll see you back here next Wednesday. Until then, stay safe and stay healthy. Take care.